Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I'm Shekhar Gupta and my guest today, Lieutenant General Deependra Singh Hooda, who recently retired as Northern Army Commander and had a job which I would say arguably is the toughest job and the most challenging job and the most satisfying job any military commander can have. Northern Army Commander, which basically means commanding all of Kashmir.
Yeah, and two borders.
Two borders.
Yeah.
Sir, welcome to Walk the Talk.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Shekhar. Thank you.
Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Are you feeling a little bit relaxed, relieved, or do you want to be back in action? And
No, you always miss the action, Shekhar, a little bit because, having been so caught up in situation,
Right.
you do miss that life a little bit. But, I guess this comes to everyone. So.
nearly 4 decades in the army and 4 tours of duty in Kashmir.
Yeah, that's right.
First as a lieutenant colonel,
Then as a brigadier,
then as a brigadier,
and then a co-commander.
co-commander, and then as army commander.
Yeah.
And Northern Army is now a very large army.
That is.
Very large army. It's almost like a full army in itself, and it's very operational all the time.
That's right.
Things are going on.
Yeah.
If nothing else goes on, then you get the earthquake.
And the floods.
and the flood. So, sir, how do you assess the current situation in Kashmir? Is it one of the all-time lows? Is it close to normal? Is it close to one of the all-time lows? Give me a description on a scale of 10.
See, the all-time low was 2012.
Right.
That I think from a security perspective, I'm talking was.
No. All-time low, I mean negatively. All-time low in
Oh.
violence was 2012, I know.
Yeah.
All-time low in terms of our control over the situation.
See, I think there are two parts to it. From a security perspective, although we are seeing more local recruitments, you are seeing some casualties that have taken place recently. Last year we've had this attacks on Uri and Nagrota and things. But despite all that, I think if you look at and compare it to what the peak insurgency was, I think it's reasonably still under control. I think what's worrisome is what is happening internally, the kind of protests that are taking place. What we saw last year, massive outbreak of protests, at least in one section of the population in the Kashmir Valley. We have a fair amount of anger, we have some alienation, and these are issues which don't portend too well for how we are got to deal with the situation there.
But tactical situation now, we seem to be suffering, army seems to be, forces seem to be suffering sort of an unacceptable level of casualties in these encounters.
See,
About you soldiers called kill ratio, it doesn't come easily to my...
Yeah, I know.
To me.
I know.
We had an intruder, a happy one, yes.
No, see, I think sometimes, and maybe it's because of the way visibility is much more, the media is much more active, that we tend to see these situations and say, things have really gone bad. That to me is not true. Surely, tactics need to change. We need to refine the way we do things, and I'm sure people on ground, will have learned their lessons of what happened, if at all anything went wrong, and I think we will get there. I don't think any major changes in the way military deals with Kashmir is actually required. We have a people-centric, hearts and minds approach. That has been our basic approach to counterinsurgencies, and I think that doesn't need to change at all.
Did you face some, were you prepared for some criticism when you actually promoted the hearts and minds approach?
No, Shekhar, I mean, it's not that
When you made that call for everybody to go back.
See, that call was made, Shekhar, you have seen the situation.
Right.
Things were honestly really bad. 40 days had passed, the situation, protests, the number of deaths that were taking place. So I think I genuinely felt that somebody needed to go out and say that things need to calm down. Everybody needs to sit down and put his head together to try and find a solution. So to me, it was the right thing to do at that time.
And did it have good impact?
Well, it did have it did have good impact. Although, as you said, there was some criticism.
Some of the prime time warriors, your Retired
No.
seniors.
But I think among the local population, I think it had fairly positive resonance, and people who've seen Kashmir and understand it well know. I think that's the approach to take.
Sir, let's first come back to the tactical issue. What do you think do these recent encounters indicate? Because encounter this week, in which we had a lieutenant colonel and a major injured, 3 others killed. From reports that are now coming out, it looks like they were lured into a situation. How does something go wrong like that? And we had one just before that also, the bunch of deaths.
See, again, Shekhar, I'm saying, you are literally into a battle. There are 2 sides, which are firing weapons at each other, and sometimes situations go bad. I frankly don't know what was the nature of it, but it did look like it's an ambush that has taken place. But as I said, people will learn their lessons. The army is fairly geared up in counterinsurgency. They are very experienced. If something has gone wrong, I'm sure they will fix it. So I don't think we should read, too much into 2 or 3 incidents.
Right.
If we take a little long-term perspective to these situations, my one worry has always been that some incident takes place, and then everybody tries to dissect it too much, and then we get so involved in trying to fix that one situation that we sometimes lose the overall focus of what we should be doing. Having said that, definitely I think something's missing, which we need is better protective gear, bulletproof
Personal physical
jackets,
protection.
yes, light bulletproof vehicles, mine protected vehicles. These are in short supply. So when you have this,
So
things will
our
get
body
better.
armor, what is lacking now?
Body armor now, there was a shortage of bulletproof jackets, so
Right.
that has started flowing in now.
Are
Because-
these good enough? Are these light enough, and are these
yeah,
effective enough?
the new ones which are coming are much better. They provide much more protection.
Right.
And we used to wear that old iron patkas.
Right.
Now they are getting replaced with ballistic helmets.
Uh-huh.
One more area we have to look at is the CRPF.
Right.
They are not too well equipped personally,
Right.
and that's why you found so many injuries in stone pelting last year. And then of course they need better non-lethal weaponry.
Non-lethal weapon.
They need better stuff.
I mean, what's your view on pellet guns, or what do you call them? Bird shots.
The pellet guns,
Right.
No, I have said, Shekhar, last year also, that they need to be replaced.
Right.
I don't think there are any 2 viewpoints on that. The MHA did constitute a committee. I think the faster they do this, the better it will be. Last year they didn't have any non-lethal weaponry except this. They used them, but the kind of controversy and discussion it has generated, it is better done away with.
Better than a
Yeah,
sooner than later.
yeah.
Better sooner than
Yeah.
later. So how do you deal with the situation again that emerged in the previous encounter, when you had these 2 or 3 terrorists hold up, I think in Kulgam,
Yeah.
and crowds again gathered? How do you deal with that situation? Because then, if you are a soldier on the ground, if you were a company commander or a young captain leading that action, it could get you very furious.
I mean, it's young officers are getting frustrated.
Right.
They are getting furious. But again, this phenomena is not new. The procedures that had been put in place is that whenever you are going for operations, you carry a larger component to deal with the law and order situation. So we were carrying
It's local
CRPF.
police and CRPF.
Yeah. So you go in larger numbers. That has its own disadvantages.
You can take more casualties. You're
Plus surprise,
exposed.
surprise,
Surprise is
etc. Is given away. They're now talking of imposing, 144 around the encounter site so that the crowds don't come. I think these are some of the things you can do, and of course, try and somehow reach out to these people who are coming for these crowds. I mean, how do you try and convince them that please don't come? Because if there are women in front and there are children in front, it's not easy to deal with this situation.
You can't fire a machine gun at them.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So, did you feel this challenge from your young officers who were getting frustrated? कि सर क्या करें? ये लोग आगे आ जाते हैं, दिल करता है कि ठोक दो सब कुछ. After all, उस टाइम तो गर्म खून है ना, उस टाइम तो
हाँ,
action
so
है.
yeah, so I remember having one sitting with commanding officers, company commanders and below in South Kashmir, all of us, 150 of us sitting together. And young officers were getting up and they were saying, sir, I mean, it's hugely frustrating. I'm in a vehicle and I'm getting stone pelted, and I know if I come out and I fire, I'll probably have to kill somebody. So, but I think still restraint is the key. There are also very clear instructions. You know, if your life is in danger, then
You can use force.
yeah, absolutely. Your life is in danger. Your comrade's life is in danger. That's the time. I mean, use force. But overall, you know, somewhere the cycle of violence has to break. So,
And that can be done militarily or politically or with a combination of both.
I think combination of both. There is no option. We quietly, during this protests of 2016, we did a massive outreach program. Went out into the villages, tried to speak to those people, and I think it helped. So the fact that military is there is a huge presence of military forces, I think is a positive. And let me also tell you, despite whatever you might read in the media, acceptability-wise, the military, the army still has much greater
So
acceptability.
our army is respected, that I know. In fact,
And then, of course,
at
you know,
least I can tell you what I've been writing. That, you know, in fact, one reason I was critical of the new chiefs, not critical, I questioned the new chief. I understood where he was coming from. I understood the emotion. He was just an angry commander. No commander is happy to attend the funeral of his own troops.
yeah.
And he was reflecting some of this frustration of young officers. But my whole point was that army is still an institution which has credibility.
Absolutely. There is absolutely no doubt about that.
So
But again, you know,
we
all
must
this.
preserve that.
Yeah. And then there is this. Finally, the strategy has to be a politico-military strategy.
Right.
It cannot be a military strategy
Right.
alone. So therefore, you know, the outreach which is required and some of the programs that need to be done, say for youth engagement, you know, are honestly beyond the.
So is there a
beyond the
local
army.
political failure, or is it a central political failure? We stand in front of North Bloc, which has the Home Ministry, and South Bloc, which has the Defence Ministry.
See, I don't know, you know, whether it is right for me to say whether there is
You are
anybody's.
not a free man. I know you carry your Northern Command on your tie and on your lapel.
But I don't know, you know, whether saying this is failure or not is actually helpful. I think let's look at how to get the situation seriously under control. And, you know, look at the other side. Look at from the time Mehbooba Mufti became Chief Minister. I think it was April. 4th April she was sworn in. 6th April was NIT protests. I think mid-April was that Handwara girls case. Then Sainik colonies, and then Burhan Wani. You know, so it's also not easy governing a state like.
Did
like
you have
Jammu
a view on
Kashmir.
Burhan Wani's killing?
You
Happened
means-
under your watch?
It happened under my watch. So,
Right.
no, if you're wanting to know whether we knew or
Yes.
no, you know, when the soldiers went in, we didn't know that
He was
specifically that he was there. But Shekhar, you know, let us assume that they had got to know. Would they have done something differently?
That's the point.
Yeah, the
No.
soldiers on ground.
And you are saying no.
No,
They would have
no.
just, they'll treat a hostile as a
As a
hostile.
hostile,
As an
absolutely.
armed hostile, as an
Yeah,
armed hostile.
yeah. I don't think they would have behaved differently.
And you had no regrets that he was killed.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. that for sure.
So, sir, this new alienation in the valley, when did you start seeing it, and this new recruitment? Because now, I don't know whether Hizbul was responsible for Shopian or not, although they've claimed it, but the fact is that some local recruitment has come back now. After many years.
So 2015 onwards, we saw a rise in local recruits, and this was building up. I think one of the reasons why you know, we are seeing locals come out on the streets is because of the slight increase in local recruitment. So obviously, you know, when somebody is going to get killed,
The family connections. Are
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And the sense is there that he's one of our own.
yeah. So they do. They know when somebody comes to a village, he's come home, and then you get to know that the military is coming. So they will try and sort of, and so this is the reason why I see one reason, the protests that are taking place, the attempts to save, their own, what they consider.
So would these protests be less, in your experience, as you've seen them, when a Pakistani Lashkari is involved?
Absolutely.
Less.
Much less.
Much less.
Much less. Much less when some foreign militant is concerned.